Hey guys, Ryan here from Melee.co, and I want to talk about some of the goals that I have for this website, for Melee.co, the goals that I have for this YouTube channel and what I'm planning to do, so that when we look back on it in the past, we can look at, okay, what was my plan? How did that go? What did go right? What went wrong? Etc, etc. And so something that I really want to incorporate into Melee.co is interviewing pro players and hearing their backstory, hearing about how they got into Melee and hearing all about their scene. One of the things we know a lot about, like so much thanks to the documentary, is about a few players: Korean DJ, PC Chris, Mew2King, Mango, etc. We know about Armada and Hungrybox and a few of these other, top 10 players as well, because we see them so much, but we don't know nearly anything about Overtriforce, about Bladewise, about even Tafo, all of these other players that are kind of sub top 10, top 20. We don't really know anything about them. We don't know about how they got into Melee. We don't know what they did to get good. We don't know what their local scene is like or any tips and advice that they have. So one of the plans that I have is kind of to fill that market through interviewing these players. Something that I do a lot for the other websites that I have is I do a lot of interviews with experts, and so I feel that my interview skills are pretty good. They need some work, yes, we can always get better at communicating, but I feel that they are pretty good. It's something that I would like to do. I'm a documentary baby in terms of Smash. I got into Melee because of the documentary. I had bought a 64 for my birthday, then ended up on YouTube, found the documentary, watched it, got into Melee, and been playing Melee for the last year, and now quite active in my scene. I'm streaming, I'm organizing tournaments, and trying to get better as well. And so as a documentary baby, I don't know a lot about the past in the scene. I don't know if Prog and D1 were ever really good players. Were they top 10? Were they top 20? I have no idea about these people. I don't know where Wife ranked. I don't know. There's so many things that I don't know that I would love to know about the scene. And so interviewing pro players is one of my goals. Now, how I plan to go about that goal at the moment is that I have compiled a list from the Meom top 100 rankings. So Melee on Me release their top 100 rankings. So I've compiled a list of that, and it does have all of those players' Twitter handles on there. So I do plan on contacting a bunch of top 100 players through Twitter, trying to get in contact with them, see if they're up for an interview to talk about Smash. Also, I'd love to talk to people like Gimmer, who run VG Bootcamp. He runs an awesome production over there in terms of streaming Smash, so I'd love to talk to him about that. There's a few other people I'd like to talk to. Would also like to touch base in the Australian scene here, talk to some of the players who have been around for a long period of time. The problem that I think with the Smash scene is that it's just so, people are so rude and aggro, bit aggressive, lacking some social etiquette, some people. And so if you do something wrong, or if you interview someone, there is the potential for backlash. I feel like there's the potential for backlash with the community, depending on who I interview, depending on how the interview goes and what gets said. If something's said that's out of place or something's wrong, people rip into you. So I'm slightly nervous about doing that. That's why I feel like interviewing players from overseas creates a bit of distance between my local community and the people that I'm interviewing. So I'll probably get less heat from that. But something that I would like to touch on is interviewing people in Australia to learn more about the Australian scene. That would be cool. But yeah, so my plan is basically get in contact with these people over Twitter. My goal was to have Tafo as the first interviewee, because his series on Zero to Hero really inspired me to start my own channel. So I wanted to have him on as the first interview, but I've contacted him a bunch of times and he hasn't gotten back to me. So I think it's time that I give up on Tafo. I think it's time that I go after other people, and maybe down the track, once I've gained some respect, gained some viewership, etc., then I can reach out to Tafo again and say, hey, my viewership is this. Can I get in contact with you? Something that I am holding as a last resort is offering to pay people for their time to come on and be interviewed. It's not something that I really want to do, because it's probably not going to make me any money in the beginning. As the community grows, you'll make very little from advertising on YouTube, and I plan that Melee.co, yes, it may make a revenue stream in the future, but in the short term, I'm not planning on banking any money from it. I've got other businesses in which I do that. So I'm holding that in my back pocket. I could pay people if I really want to get them on. I'm not even going to try and approach people like Mango, Armada, Hungrybox, etc., because they're just probably too out of reach and get too many requests. So I can approach them later down the track once I've already interviewed a bunch of people in the community, in the top 100, etc. So that's my plan at the moment. That's what I want to do. I haven't really done a whole lot of outreach in terms of interviewing people. So I will get to that next week. I will try and Twitter out and get in contact with a bunch of people. And, like with anything, you're going to have a hit rate. Most people will probably say, no, I can't be bothered. Even if I can just get 1, 2, 3 people to say yes, then I've got something happening. Then once the ball gets rolling, it's so much easier to get future interviews. If I can say, hey, I've interviewed Overtriforce, or I've interviewed Bladewise, or I've interviewed Doe, or I've interviewed, or is it DOH? I don't know how you pronounce it. Sorry, man. Or yeah. I've interviewed Plup or Hugs or whoever. So once I can say that I've done those people, then it's easier to get other people on board. And I found that with another site that I have on property investing in Australia, I've now interviewed one of the biggest property authors in Australia. And so when I contact people, I can say that he's been featured on the site. I can talk about how much traffic comes to my website, etc. And so it just helps to grow my authority in a space where I'm a guy who wears a singlet and a t-shirt when I'm filming videos. I'm filming in my bedroom. I'm not, some super sophisticated person wearing a suit and tie or anything like that. And so that helps to build authority for me, helps me to get interviews. And so hopefully I can use that same strategy in the Smash community. So I do plan to have a whole bunch of interviews in the near to mid future. So look out for them. I will, on the YouTube page and probably on the website, create a specific section just for interviews. So Melee.co will basically be a twofold thing. It'll be me trying to improve my game, talking about what I'm working on, just basically documenting my journey, as well as me interviewing other smashers. So it'll be kind of a two-pronged approach to the website. Also, a third thing that I will look at doing in the future is just doing mini documentaries of events and things like that, because that could be cool. That could be fun to try and attempt and see how I go with those things. So that is where I'm at. That is my plan. Wish me the best. If you've got any help, then head over to Melee.co, fill out the contact form there, get in contact with me, or follow me on Twitter at Ryan McLean, RyanMclean. Follow me on Twitter over there and contact me through Twitter, which I'm now using for the first time in history. I've had a Twitter account for probably almost 10 years now or something like that, and I've never had a reason to use it, but now I'm a part of the Smash community. I do. So you can contact me on Twitter. I may create a Melee.co Twitter account, but not at the moment. At the moment, it's just Ryan McLean, which is my name. So hope you guys are having a great day. I hope that I can get this good content for you. But until next time, keep calm and play Melee. 30 minutes later. Hey guys, okay, a very quick update on how it is going. I recorded the video about half an hour ago, and I decided, you know what, I've got about half an hour, 45 minutes to go on Twitter and to email some of these pro players and to see how I go. And so I've got my list of the top 100. So far, I have tweeted at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So far, I've tweeted at 12 pro players, and I've gotten 3 responses from people that are saying they'd be interested. So I've got one from Connor the Kid, which would be absolutely awesome. I've got one from Ledandus, who just came 5th, I think it was, at Pound. That would be amazing. And then I have another one from David Hughes, who is Zoso, who's a math player from New England. So that would be cool as well. I actually haven't heard of that guy, but he's ranked 71 on the top 100. So all of these guys will be so awesome to interview. But to get like Ledandis and to get Connor right off the bat, that would be super awesome and super fun. So I am looking forward to this. Hopefully interviews will be closer away than I originally thought.